none other than the Grand Arena.
Here that Benruki's pet. No, that's not Benruki's turtle. Virio made a turtle pet named Benruki.
Wow.
I guess you inspired him last week when your little turtle running around, so now he has a pet turtle Benruki.
Oh, that's so nice.
All right, so we do see the turbo coming out from Tony from the Bronx, running Warrior, Losa, Tony Jr. on his Enhancement Shaman, and Danny Carey on the Restoration Druid, going up against Rampant, Virio, and Kerp running that Ret Hunter Shaman. Now, we've seen this matchup before, and Tony from the Bronx usually looks very dominant over Ret Hunter Shaman, but I don't know. Anything can happen. Here we go. The gates have opened.
Yeah,
we're going to be...
It's the Turbo's advantage the later the game goes. Rampant already starting off on a Danny, popping the Avenging Wrath. He's going to get feared by Losa. It got trimmered by Kerp. Good trimmer there. They're going to get the pressure rolling onto Tony. Already down to 50%. He's going to use the Shamanistic Rage. Still dipping low, down to 30%. He's going to NS here, Ancestral Guidance, and get himself some big heals here. He's still down to 20%. Danny having a really hard time healing through this. And this isn't even the Murder of Crows out from Virio.
Yeah, but Danny Carey doing an excellent job. He's actually saved Ironbark, so he's making sure he has that cooldown available for when the BM Crows come out from Virio. Actually, I was going to say Danny Carey, this matchup is going to be a lot about how he rotates his cooldowns, and so far he's done a great job. He saw some danger in the beginning with the wings and just decided to trinket and Barkskin. Virio taking a lot of damage, though, having to use his first deterrence. Danny Carey, his Nature's Vigil is actually going to fade there. Looks like Los and Tony Jr. are switching over onto Rampant at the moment. And still, Virio hasn't used his BM Crows, so they're just saving it for now, looking for an opportunity to get some major damage out.
Yeah, they can definitely kill Danny, even through Barkskin in a full Hodge with the 5-stack Barrage and Crows, and they've already forced the Ironbark Cenarian Ward out onto Tony Jr. without using the Crows. Kerp feeling a bit of pressure from Losa on the backside here at 50%. Tony's going to be able to connect here shortly, just can't seem to catch up yet. Going to use the Spirit Walk to finally catch up here. Danny landing a root onto 2 players. Rampant going to get out of that with the Emancipate. Kerp into the Shockwave. He actually chooses to trinket out of that, taking a lot of damage. Tony Jr. trinketing as well. Danny caught into a full Hodge right now, possibly a full trap out of it, but Kerp gets locked on his heel. There's the full trap onto Danny. Tony's going to pop the Shamanistic Rage here very early, down to 40% already, taking a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Danny Carey finally out of that trap, though. He should be able to get some heals out onto Tony Jr. The Hots coming in from Danny Carey. Danny Carey actually getting swapped to now into the bear form, trying to tank a little bit of that damage, putting Rampant into the bash. He has no trinket, so he's going to have to sit that, and Danny Carey's going to have a second to actually get out some healing. Danny Carey's just going to displace across the map, get some heals, top himself off. And if we look at cooldowns, Kerp has no trinket, Rampant no trinket. He does have his bubble available as well as bot. Looks like this Ret Hunter team is trying to get some more CC onto Danny Carey. The Hodge trap going in, and actually Danny Carey trinketing that immediately. He wants to keep Tony Jr. up, the BM Crows and the Wings coming out. The swap over onto Danny Carey now. He is into bear form. He has that Vigil up. He needs to be careful. He's in a lot of trouble now. Into the Barks, or putting that Barkskin up. Rallying Cry coming out from Los as well. Danny Carey's going to displace away, catch some huge heals on himself. He does have that Nature's Vigil up, so his Hots are going to be empowered. Getting into a little cheeky corner, actually, able to get some regrowth on himself, and he's going to survive the swap and be completely fine.
Yeah, it was a nice little hiding spot Danny found there. I'm going to have to use that when I play later, I think. But now Danny into the full Hodge. Virio looking to trap him out of it. He lands the full trap with no trinket. Tony might have to use the Shamanistic Rage. He's fully hotted up. He's trying to line of sight the Hunter damage right now and hold on to that Shamanistic Rage. He's dipping lower and lower, getting himself some heals here. Cenarian Ward connects. Virio dips down to 37%. Losa pressure him pretty hard right now. He's going to knock Tony back. Kerp caught into a bash by Danny. Danny looking to try and get a Cyclone here. He's going to chain it into the Cyclone. Virio's in trouble. Deterrence is at 17%. If he falls to that, he could get executed. Rampant now down to 30%. Another clone onto Kerp. Viro's just going to go down. No deterrence is left, and Tony from the Bronx are going to take a decisive victory on the Grand Arena.
Yeah, there was a couple scary moments in that game for Danny Carey, but I think he managed his cooldowns well, exactly what he needed to do, and he was able to keep himself and his team up, and ultimately they were able to just out-pressure and score kill.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There we go. The very first game is going to go to Tony from the Bronx. And that means they will need to announce their composition to the enemy team. And then the opposing team is going to have to announce the next map here pretty shortly. All right, so let me just get in communication with these teams and let you guys know exactly what's going on. I feel like Tony from the Bronx's team is not going to be changing up their composition, I am assuming. As that turbo looks very convincing against this Ret Hunter Shaman team, though the Ret Hunter Shaman team only has one composition available to them, I believe. So,
that was a pretty convincing win. Yeah, I really doubt they're going to switch it up. The Turbo Cleave is very strong. They're all good players. They know how to play the comp. And I think the only time we'll see them switching comps is if it's something Turbo Cleave doesn't do very well against. And it seems like that is a pretty good matchup for them.
Right. Alright, so the Ret Hunter Shaman team, they're going to go ahead and bring it to Ruins of Lordaeron, trying to make it a much smaller map. Now, Ruins of Lordaeron, I feel, means that they're going to be looking for more swaps to potentially Danny Carey. That's what my mindset would be. Though Danny Carey, as we've seen in the past, is a difficult target to kill. Specifically also on Ruins of Lordaeron, so I'm excited to see what's about to happen here. But here we go, let's jump into it. The next map is Ruins of Lordaeron. Alright, welcome to Ruins of Lordaeron. Game number 2 between Flexlauncher and Tony from the Bronx here in round 1 of tournament number 17. So far, Tony from the Bronx is looking super strong. I don't know if the map is going to make a difference for Flexlauncher, but here we go, only 10 seconds.
I think it's likely we're going to see Rampant and Viro just run at Danny Carey. Maybe delay it a little bit, but once the wings come out, Viro and Rampant are going to try to connect on Danny Carey. He's going to be really scared. Going to have to use a lot of cooldowns to survive, and use his cooldowns properly too. So we'll see how it goes.
Flexlauncher has the surprise factor with the amount of bursts they can do, but a well-veteran player like Danny's not going to really get caught off guard by it. Rampant already pulling back at the tomb, trying to drag Tony away from Danny and drag Danny into the open if they're going to swap to him. Tony down to 60%, but Danny's able to get some free heals. Rampant pushing in, looking for a Hodge. He's getting punished while he's pushing in here. Danny camping bear form, throws the Iron Bark up preemptively onto Tony here. He gets full Hodge. He's going to bark skin the Murder of Crows, immediately gets safeguarded as well. He should be able to tank all the damage. Triple fear landed by Losa. It will get trimmed by Kurp, however. Rampant looking to reconnect here to Danny, but he's found himself into the cubby once again on Ruins of Lordaeron, topping himself off here for the time being. The Avenging Wrath going to be fading off Rampant with a lot of his pressure. Now he's on the defense, popping that wall, pulling back. Still trying to go after Danny, though. He's cutting back to the opposite side of the map. Kurp chasing after him as well. Tony getting CC'd behind the tomb, kind of getting left behind. He's going to finally reconnect here onto Kurp.
Yeah, Danny Carey having to play a little bit of catch-up now, throwing out that Cenarion Ward onto Tony Jr., easily able to top him off. Kurp still getting trained down by Losa and Tony, though. He's under a lot of pressure. He has that Ascendance up, throwing out as many heals as possible. The Spirit Walker's Grace coming out, too. He's going to, hopefully, for his sake, top himself off with these cooldowns. But unfortunately gets Shockwave up on that heal by Losa. Actually, Danny Carey getting Hodged up there, too. Is able to displace away. And I think he's going to be fine during that swap. But in the meantime, Rampant having to use his first bop, I believe, onto Kurp to keep him up. And it isn't looking good for Flexlauncher.
Yeah, his mana's already really starting to hurt. Danny sitting comfortably at 85%. Tony fully hotted and pushing in to end the game here. Kurp caught into a full shockwave with no trinket, down to 30%. He might have to drop the Spirit Link here. He chooses to dispel the Hex off of Rampant. He's taking another global cooldown off of him. He's going to drop the Link here. And I believe that was his last one, or the UI is incorrect here. He might have one more remaining. Kurp down to 50% now. Tony choosing to pop the Shamanistic Rage preemptively to push in through here and tank up the barrage damage. Kurp now positioned at the room is going to be dragging Tony and overextending him. Losa's just going to leap in. He's ready to get into the action. Tony is going to follow up here shortly. Viro getting cloned up by Danny. He's not able to assist with his team and output the pressure he needs to right now. Kurp camping in the room right now. He did get sacrificed there to try and reduce some damage, I believe. Now Rampant caught into a bash. They could easily swap to him. He's going to bubble out of it, cancel that immediately to try and put some amount of pressure out onto anyone, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, they're just completely on the back foot right now, playing full peel mode for Kurp, who's actually almost dampening still 2.5 minutes away. But now Rampant using that wings, trying to turn it over onto Danny. BM Crow's coming out as well. He does have that Ironbark Cenarion Ward. He's going to get away, top himself off. And now Viro's the one that's in trouble. Down to 20%, 19%, using his final deterrence. Kurp has no real cooldowns to top him back off. Rampant's wings are going to be fading, and his pressure is going to be going way, way down here. And Kurp, Viro, and Rampant just Not looking good.
Yeah, it really isn't. Kerp now down to 22% mana and slowly getting drained, not even into dampening at this point. Danny camping safely at the room. Rampant's going to have to overextend a lot to Hodge him. He does get the full Hodge, but he bareformed it. They're not going to be able to swap. Vera has to try and land a trap on all of those Trents. He might not be able to get it. He's trying his hardest. He is going to land the full trap. There is no trinket on Danny Carey right now, but Tony's doing a great job just healing himself. He did pre-Cenarian ward the trap, so it's going to bide him time here. Danny sits through the trap, gets the NS off, tops him off very quickly. Now Kerp is the one who's in trouble, down to 3% health, or 3% mana, sorry, caught into the full dash. He's choosing to trinket out of that. There was a bop available. He might want to held on to that for later, but it's not looking good either way. Still down to 45% health here. Danny camping Bearform just to remain absolutely safe. The Recklessness coming out here. Rampant getting hexed. Does get dispelled by Kerp, taking up more of his mana, though. He gets charge stun, down to 24%, almost into execute range. 1 more percent, and he will go down back up to 30%, bouncing his HP up here. The Live Lord himself running away from Losa, the Tyrant, who's going to leap right after him and chase him and hunt him down into the room.
Yeah, that is the BM Crows coming out from Vero. Tony immediately answering that with the Strong Wall, and he's going to be completely fine. Danny Carey able to just comfortably be in that CC, come out, and Kerp's finally going to fall after being and just trained all game.
Yeah, I mean, Tony from the Bronx, they're going to take a quick, a relatively quick anyway, 2-0 from Flexlauncher, and Flexlauncher is going to be knocked out of the tournament, as this is single elimination. This Ret Hunter Shaman team coming in and competing quite well, but this is one hell of a team to compete against here in GCD TV. And Tony from the Bronx, they will advance here in tournament number 17 to round 2. So...
Ooh.
That being said, let's take a quick look at that bracket. Tony from the Bronx is going to advance to face Scout's Honor in round 2, which is also a very hard team. So that's going to be an exciting matchup. Scout's Honor, Beanslayer X, and Sam I Am, I believe, are going to be on that team.